Hello scholars. Today we are going to start with Civics chapter 7, that is Police and the Court. As you all know that the court or judiciary in our country is an independent body and we are having different courts at different level. We are having Supreme Court at countries level, High Court at state level and other courts which are basically called as subordinate courts. They are working at district level. We are even having two branches of our legal system, that is the criminal justice system and the civil justice system. In this chapter, we are going to study about criminal justice system in detail. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the subordinate courts or district courts. District courts are the courts which are basically at the district level. All these courts are working under the jurisdiction of the concerned High Court of the state. There are different courts at every district level which are dealing with both civil and criminal cases. Every district is having its own judicial administrative setup. As we all know that conflicts can be of different types between the citizens, between the citizen and the state government. There are two types of courts, civil courts and criminal courts. Criminal courts deal with the criminal cases and civil courts deal with the civil cases. Civil cases generally include issues related with property or land and financial disputes. On the other hand, criminal cases includes the issues related to murder, theft, robbery, assault, etc. Next, we are going to discuss about the officers related with these courts and their working. When we talk about a civil case, the district judge and the additional district judge are the in charge of the highest courts. Other than that, subordinate civil judge first class, sub judge second class and munsif. These courts are working below the court of district judge, additional district judge and subordinate judge first class are having the right and the power to hear the suits or the hearings, and the power of lower courts are decided on the basis of the Suit Valuation Act, and according to this some powers are granted to the lower courts for taking decision in different matters. Next we will be discussing about criminal cases. The Court of Session Judge is the highest court for dealing with criminal cases. The Session Judge and Additional Session Judge are having the right to go for the hearings of the criminal cases which are very severe. There are even certain lower courts which are dealing with the criminal cases. These courts are of Assistant Session Judge, Chief Judicial Magistrate, Chief Metropolitan Magistrate and Magistrate First Class, Magistrate Second Class and Special Judicial Magistrate and Executive Magistrate. These are basically the in charges, those who are dealing with different cases in the lower courts and are liable to go for the hearings of different issues. As we have discussed about the judges in different types of courts, in the same manner now we are going to discuss about the powers at different level. The session judge is having the power to give a death sentence, but after the confirmation from the High Court. The Chief Judicial Magistrate is having the power to give an imprisonment of maximum 7 years. A magistrate of first class is having the power to give an imprisonment of 3 years or fines or both. The magistrate of second class is having the power to give an imprisonment of 2 years and fines or both, and the amount of fine is decided as per the crime or the power of the judge. So this was the judicial system which is dealing with different type of cases. Next we are going to study about the district administration. As you all know, our country is very big and for the same reason it is divided into states and many other smaller units like villages, blocks and district. And at every level there is a different type of government for the better functioning of a country. In the same manner, at district level we are having district administration. So at district level, the chief executive officer is the district magistrate. District Magistrate is also known as Deputy Commissioner or Deputy Collector. District Magistrate is assisted by a group of officers to deal with different type of issues. So now we are going to discuss about the functions of District Magistrate. Functions of District Magistrate are maintaining law and order, providing civic amenities to the people, supervising the work of Gram Panchayat and Block Samiti, maintaining land records, collection of revenue, providing relief work during the time of disasters, and monitoring developmental projects which are introduced by the central government or by the state government. First of all, we are going to study about SHO. Full form of SHO is Station House Officer, which is generally called as Inspector. The topmost or the highest level officer of a police hierarchy is Superintendent of Police or SP. Every subdivision is under the charge of a Deputy Superintendent of Police or DSP. A police circle generally has 5 to 10 police station or thanas. Every police station is under the jurisdiction of a SHO or Station House Officer, which is also known as Daroga. Under a SHO, inspectors, sub-inspectors, head constable, and chowkidars are working. Next we are going to discuss about area under a police station. Every police station is having a fixed area which comes under its control. In case of a theft, robbery, assault or murder, the people can directly go and report in the concerned police station under which their area comes. Next we are going to discuss about the functions of police. Police is having the duty to register the case and then to investigate it and take necessary actions on all those cases, including land dispute or personal disputes. Police is also having the duty to maintain peace in their area, especially during the time of festivals, public meetings, etc. And for that purpose, they keep an eye on the antisocial elements. Police even arrest the people those who are belonging to the criminal background. Next we are going to study about the police or the court, or we can say the relation between the police and the court. As we all know that the main duty of police is to maintain law and order, but still there are many people who violate the rules and often commits crime. In this condition, the people immediately informs the police and the police files an FIR. Then it is the duty of the police to investigate the crime and arrest the accused. But it is the duty of court to punish the accused or to find out whether the accused is guilty or not. According to our constitution, every person who is charged of a crime is having the right to go for a fair trial, and after that only it is decided whether the person is a guilty or not. Next we are going to discuss about the process, how any criminal case is being dealt with. So in the same continuation, first of all we are going to discuss about FIR. Full form of FIR is First Information Report. The FIR is the information which is recorded by the officer on duty, and this information is either given by the person who has suffered or by other people, those who have witnessed the crime. In this, the person who is filing an FIR has to give the details of the incident correctly, and then on the basis of those details, police is having the right to investigate the crime, and in this manner the initial information is given to the police. Next we will be discussing about how to file an FIR. First of all, the person who is going to file an FIR should go to the police station and meet the officer in charge, and the person should narrate about the offense in a sequential manner in an orderly way to the officer. Then the information report or the FIR should be signed by the person who has complained, and it should be recorded in a book to be kept by the officer, and one copy of the FIR should be given to the person who has reported about the crime. In this manner, a FIR can be filed. At times there are some cases when the police refuse to file an FIR So now we are going to discuss what to do in case of a refusal. If the officer in charge of the police station refuses to file an FIR, then the same report can be forwarded to the superintendent of police, and the disclosing of these type of cases is an offense. So in this manner, the superintendent of police can himself investigate or can appoint the subordinate officers to go through the event and to file an FIR against it. And if the superintendent of police even does not take any action, then the same report can be forwarded to the magistrate requesting him to direct the police to file an FIR. And if the magistrate itself does not take any decision, then the same report can be forwarded to the High Court requesting the police to charge an FIR against the event. As we have already discussed that after filing an FIR, the police investigation starts. Now we are going to discuss about the role of police in investigating a crime. The police generally goes through a set procedure while investigating for a crime. First of all, the police take the statements of the witness and collects different types of evidences. The police even forms an opinion. Then in this manner, the police files a charge sheet before the court. The investigation of police generally moves ahead in accordance with the law and human rights. So in this manner, none of the fundamental rights of a citizen are hampered. Even during the time of investigation, there are certain guidelines which are set up by the Supreme Court, and the police has to follow these guidelines regarding the arrest, investigation and interrogation of the accused. These guidelines are basically called as D.K. Basu's guidelines. These guidelines are: the police cannot torture or beat any person during investigation. The police is not having the right to punish any person for minor issues. During arrest or interrogation, the police officer should be wearing visible identifications with their name tags and with their designations. A record of arrest should be prepared at the time of arrest, which should have the date and time of arrest, and that record should be signed by one witness. The record of arrest should be countersigned by the person who is arrested. While arrest or interrogation, the person is having the right to inform its family, relative or well-wishers. And if the friend or relative of the arrested person are living outside the district, then within 8 to 12 hours of arrest, the police is having the duty to notify the time of arrest, date of arrest and venue of custody to its friends or relatives. Next we are going to discuss about the fundamental rights of an arrested person. As per our constitution, according to Article 22 and the criminal law, an arrested person is having certain fundamental rights. Those rights are right to information. The person who is arrested is having the right to know that for which reason he is being arrested. The person is having the right to be presented before the magistrate within 24 hours of its arrest. The person is even having the right for not being tortured or ill-treated while arrest or in custody. A child under 15 years of age or a woman cannot be called to the police station for the questionnaire. Confession made by the victim in the custody cannot be termed as the evidence against the accused. Next we are going to study about the role of public prosecutor. Public prosecutor is basically the lawyer who fights any criminal case from the side of the government. As per our constitution, our judicial system is based on an assumption that a crime committed by any person is the crime against the society. So the responsibility of punishment lies in the hands of the state, not with the victim. When the police files a charge sheet in the court, then the public prosecutor proceeds the hearings of that case in the court. It is the duty of public prosecutor to present the case in the court from the side of state, and for this he has to present all the facts all the witnesses and all the evidence in front of the court, so that the court can easily take the decision against the victim. Next, we are going to discuss about the role of judge. Judge is the person in the court who is having the right or the authority to punish the victim or to make legal decisions and decide that how the victim should be treated if he has done a crime. The judge conducts an impartial trial in the court. He listens to the witnesses, he observes the evidences, and then on the basis of those evidences and witnesses, he gives the decision for the court and decides whether the victim or the accused is guilty or not. And if the accused is found guilty, the judge will declare the sentence. The judge can even give him an imprisonment or a fine or both. In this manner, all the criminal cases are being dealt in the courts, and finally the decision is being taken that whether the accused is innocent or a guilty. Next, we are going to discuss about fair trial. Fair trial basically means whatever hearings are going on in the court, those hearings should be impartial without any foundation or without any sources. So according to Article 21 of the Constitution, a fair trial is very important, and there are certain essential factors for conducting a fair trial. The person who is accused should be given a copy of the charge sheet and all the evidences which the prosecutor has presented against him in the court. The accused should be provided with a lawyer, and the hearings of the court should be conducted in an open court in front of the public. The defense lawyer means the lawyer who is fighting from the side of the victim or accused is having the right and the power to cross-examine all the witnesses who are presented by the public prosecutor. And even the defense lawyer is having the right to present the witness, those who are in favor of the accused, to prove that the accused is innocent. In this manner, these are certain elements which decides that the trial is conducted in a fair manner or not. As we know, our constitution follows rule of law. Rule of law means every person is equal in the eyes of law, and nobody should be discriminated on the basis of their religion, caste, gender or economic status. So in the same manner, every person who is an accused is having the right to go for a fair trial so that the person can prove his innocence. So in this manner, police and courts are related, and the person who has committed any crime is getting a punishment, and this is basically the judicial system in our country. So this was all about the chapter. Before winding up, let us discuss about some important points of the chapter. The courts at the district level and below are known as subordinate courts. The court of the session judge is the highest court in a district for criminal cases. The district magistrate is the highest executive officer of a district. The FIR is the information recorded by the police officer on duty. Our criminal judicial system is based on the assumption that every crime committed by a person is a crime against the society. So these were the highlights of the chapter. With this, we are going to wind up today's class. Good day for now. Stay home, stay safe.